Dear fellow Filipinos and good citizens of the world, Duterte must be tried in the Philippines and not in The Hague. Former President Rodrigo Duterte should be returned to the Philippines immediately. He was a good leader, a loved president who waged war against drug lords and drug dealers. The Filipino people love him for his brave style of leadership, where he weakened and suppressed the rampant drug abuse, trafficking, and graft and corruption in his own country. During his time, the Philippine streets became safe, politicians were scared to steal money from the government, tourism skyrocketed in the islands, while his ratings went so highly that the Filipino people started to feel proud of their nationality and country, a sentiment that was so kept from them for years from a series of corrupt leaders who ran their country. However, in 2025, the current President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., the son of the late dictator, allowed the kidnapping of Duterte to the ICC, allegedly because Marcos saw Duterte as a threat to his political career and inconvenient to his own lifestyle as a heavy cocaine user himself, a drug addiction that his own sister Amy Marcos revealed. During his term, Duterte was a staunch anti-drug campaigner and declared that Marcos and his wife, Lisa, were both drug addicts, hence the reason Duterte denied the Marcoses functions from Duterte's government. The Philippines is not a member of the ICC. Why is he detained in The Hague is a question that baffles millions of Filipinos. The ICC should return or help to return Duterte to the Philippines to be tried in the country's active legal system. Lately this year, in 2026, allegations spread in the Philippines that officers of the ICC benefited from the stolen government money through their transactions with Philippine politicians and personalities during their visit to the country. Allegedly, Martin Romualdez, Antonio Trillanes, and others, all suspected government fund looters, had met with the ICC officials in their private premises or residences to have a private meeting where deliveries of government stolen money in suitcases arrived. This was testified by one of the 18 Philippine Marines who spoke out of the blatant stealing of billions of pesos from the government funds. Allegedly, other recipients of these government officials also included the President himself, Ferdinand Marcos Jr., his own cousin, Martin Romualdez, the Senate President, Tito Soto, and several others. While we contemplate on the integrity, unfairness, and hypocrisy of the ICC for ignoring the real crimes against humanity cases and suspects such as Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, for aggressively attacking Iran in February this year, Trump kidnapping the president of Venezuela, imposing life-threatening sanctions to smaller and powerless nations like Cuba, and other allegations, not to mention the genocidal and ethnic cleansing acts done towards the Palestinians. We clamor for equality and respect for good leaders of the world, such as Duterte, who did nothing but cleaned up his country from the rut of drug addiction that wrecked people's lives and families. President Duterte had saved millions of people from direct repercussions of drug addiction such as crime, rape, theft, and loss of future. He was also a tenacious enemy of graft and corruption in his own country. Former President Rodrigo Duterte's style in speaking, in his efforts to deter those involved in drug trafficking and using of illicit drugs, included rhetorics and allusions related to death and fear. He used to say, "Mga putang ina ninyo, iwasan nyo ang druga, baka mapatay ko pa kayo." This hardcore persona that he had adopted for such purpose had indeed bore significant results that positively addressed the drug addiction situation of the time. Duterte had not committed murder. If anything, he was hated by murderers, including drug lords and oligarchs that had personal interests so destructive to the future of the people. So, A typical anti-drugs operation during Duterte's time would include police doing a surprise visit to the house of the suspects. Naturally, it would bring a kerfuffle in the premise, and the suspects fired at the police, to which the police responded in self-defense. As a result, drug-related suspects lose their lives. Why are the real criminals against humanity not investigated? Why does the International Criminal Court only exercise their power over a powerless country like the Philippines? Why is Duterte not returned in his country to be tried domestically from the allegations that happened domestically in his country? Please bring him home.